Playing fast rhythmical lines suck. Changing the key when playing fast rhythmical lines just confirms how much this sucks. When I play music, I'm constantly confronted with all the things I cannot do. All the things I find that I need to be better at. Realizing all the things I do not well enough. My kryptonite is and has always been rhythm, timing, articulation, and playing what I'm actually hearing. Through many years of practice, I'm used to confronting myself with all these items I'm not good at. All these things I really need to work hard on. But I really often feel that it takes too long. So how do I get these difficult and challenging subjects moving? How do I make sure that I always implement these in my playing? To get a feel that I'm always getting better. For example, when I'm playing this line, I add all of these 4 subjects. I really try to add these 4 subjects to everything I play. Strong articulation, good timing, playing lines I actually hear with rhythmic variation. It's this simple. To get better at the things we find difficult, we need to practice just those. Practice everything with a purpose and add the difficult topics to this. If I pull out the basic line of what I just played, it would be something like this. I've removed all fancy rhythm, all fancy articulation. It's only the ups and downs of the scales and the chords. When I add simple jazz articulation, this line just gets much stronger. It's to the point and becomes a really great jazz phrase. Start practicing everything you play with strong articulation. I also need to get my technical aspects into this. So when I practice my technique, I add strong articulation to my technique. In this way I get my technical exercises much more attuned to the way I actually play when I play music. The second phrase of the lick are triads with a chromatic approach note. I drag them out of the lick, put them into a technical exercise and add articulation and phrasing. That way the technical exercise gets much more closer to what you are actually playing. You want your articulation to be automated in the technical exercise and in your playing. This is why I'm doing this in both places, when you're playing and when you're playing your technical exercise. All these licks and exercises are on the Patreon for you to grab and go. Links in the description. Beware of your timing when you play and practice. When playing, aim your lines to hit the beats of the bar. This sounds pretty obvious. But getting your technique, your fingers really coordinated with the timing of the bar and getting the timing of the rhythm in your musical lines really aligned, that's the challenge. Getting your fingers really aligned with the rhythm, with the metronome, with the beats of the bar means you need great awareness of where your fingers are going and how they move. Play everything with the metronome, put the beats in different places and practice different scenarios. Get your fingers to really interlock with this little click of the metronome. Changing the pace of the lines is a great way to get your fingers even more sharp on the beat. Mix your 8-note lines with triplets. This forces your fingers to be extremely precise because of the speed change. So why not train your technical exercise like you're playing a solo? In this exercise I'm using 4 different rhythms from the lick. Practicing in this way, adding as much musical content to the technical lines, gets your technical lines and your music that you're actually playing much closer. The material from the technical exercise are already in the fingers when you are going to play. Always be aware of the subdivisions, changing from 8 notes to triplets. Continuously adjusting your fingers and your precision will create awareness and a much better relation between your technique and your timing. Remember, when you change the key, your fingers have different positions you need to train. When you're changing the key of a lick, why not change the key of your technical exercises? This will align everything you practice much more. If the keys in this lesson are too challenging, go to the Patreon. All the material is in all 12 keys. Pick your key, pick the key you want to play. Even in the new key, you need to add articulation to get that punch. Playing what I'm actually hearing is one of the most difficult things for me to do. Sometimes I do ask myself, what is it that I'm actually hearing? And mostly the answer is, take your time to figure it out. When training technique, when adding the articulation, when making these lines, we need to remember to actually hear what we are going to play or what we want to hear coming out of the saxophone. When making lines like these really needs your full awareness. The most challenging aspect for me in this fast lick is that I hear these lines, but I'm not always sure how to execute them. When I slow down, I'm able to figure out what I want to play. Mostly I start writing the licks down, getting them into my fingers really slow, adding technical exercises, finding out how to work around this, and then eventually being able to play the lick. Playing what you hear one time is not enough. You need to add these lines you hear into different contexts, so that you get the fastest executions from your ears into your instrument. Interchange the lines you hear from licks into exercise and vice versa. And remember to add the metronome to get this really tight. Change around the beat of the metronome. Move the tempo up and down to challenge yourself. To get much more punch out of your jazz lines, always add great articulation, both to your exercise and to the jazz lines you hear. Remember that all these materials is on my Patreon in all 12 keys, ready for you to get started right now. Take a step further into the world of developing your skills with some of my favorite saxophone players, John Coltrane, Michael Brecker and Chris Potter. Check these 2 videos. Play music, have fun.